Title: Wealthy Farmers Stunned When Homeless Girl Warns Him About His Wife's Betrayal. Chapter 1: The Mysterious Beginning. A thick veil of silence blanketed the sprawling estate, pierced only by the eerie howl of the wind that twisted through the ancient trees. The moon hung low, casting ghostly shadows across the crumbling farmhouse, where peeling paint whispered tales of faded glory. Sensing the chill in the air, Sam Thornton shifted uneasily in his chair, a knot tightening in his chest. Something felt off. The family dog hadn't barked all night, and the usual chorus of crickets had fallen mute. A storm was brewing, but it wasn't just the weather. Outside, the rusted gate creaked open, revealing a figure swathed in tattered clothes, her dirty hair blowing like a wild flag in the gusts. Lily, the homeless girl rumored to haunt the town, approached, her wide eyes gleaming with a mix of fervor and dread. Sam watched, rapt, as she drew near, an unsettling energy radiating from her. But townsfolk warned of her uncanny clarity, claiming she spoke prophecies. But he had always dismissed those tales as ridiculous. Until now. "Mr. Thornton," she cried, her voice trembling yet firm. The world stood still, the air heavy with expectation. "You must listen! Your wife, she's not who you think she is." Her words hit him like a thunderclap, the room swirling in confusion. He could barely digest the shock. Angie, his beloved wife, the very heart of his life, a beacon of confidence and charm. Betrayal was an alien thought, yet a sinister nagging pulled at his heartstrings. The trees rattled violently, as if the very earth was imploring him to take heed. "There's a plan, a secret she hides from you," Lily insisted, stepping closer, her eyes locking onto his with a tenacity that sent him reeling. "Meet me at the old barn past midnight. You need to know the truth." Tension crackled in the air, punctuated only by her urgent plea. Sam felt an overwhelming urge to run, to dismiss her words. Yet something drew him in, fear mixed with forced curiosity. It sent shivers down his spine, leaving him breathless as images of love twisted into visions of betrayal clouded his mind. Around him, the shadows of the farmhouse seemed to whisper, "What if she's right?" The very walls felt alive, vibrating with an ominous energy that mirrored his racing heart. The townsfolk had spun tales of old curses, and the weight of their warnings pressed against his chest, palpable and suffocating. Just then, a loud crack echoed through the night. Lightning illuminated the sky, and in that brief flicker, Sam could have sworn he saw the silhouette of a figure behind one of the windows, watching him. He jumped, his breath hitching as he gasped for control. Was it just his imagination, or was someone really lurking there? With his mind spiraling, a wave of unrest crashed over him. He needed to know more. He needed to confront the darkness wrapping around his seemingly perfect life. Sam's hands trembled as he gripped the table, the wood splintering beneath his nails as he pondered. Could he trust her? Could he dare to unveil the secrets lurking beneath the surface of his marriage? Hey, before we continue with this incredible story, I need to give you an important alert. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube removed their subscriptions without warning. Just take a quick look at the red button down below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I don't want you to miss any exclusive content coming your way. And since you're here, drop that powerful like that helps me so much with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, what city are you watching from? I love meeting every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's interact. Every moment led to an inevitable confrontation. Midnight beckoned with sinister allure. And what would he discover at the barn? Was it betrayal or was it hope? The questions swirled like autumn leaves, each turn more profound than the last. Leaving Sam in a turbulent sea of uncertainty. As the clock inched toward midnight, the darkness thickened around the barn. Sam's heart raced, pounding like a wild drum. Each step he took felt heavier, as if the earth itself fought against his resolve. The old barn loomed ahead, its weathered, boards creaking like a skeletal hand reaching out from the shadows. "Why am I doing this?" he whispered to himself, a cold sweat dampening his brow. Doubt clawed at him. What if Lily was wrong? What if she was just a lost girl, spinning tales to get attention? Still, the chilling uncertainty gripped him. He needed answers. He pushed open the barn door. It swung wide with a groan, revealing a dark interior shrouded in cobwebs. The air was musty, thick with memories buried under heaps of forgotten hay. Sam stepped inside, his pulse quickening at the thought of what awaited him. Unbeknownst to him, a pair of eyes watched from a hidden corner. "Lily?" he called out, his voice sounding weak, even. To his ears, "Are you here?" Nothing but silence answered him. Anxiety racked around his chest like a vice, squeezing tighter with every passing second. Then he noticed something, a flicker of light from the back of the barn. He moved toward it, hope igniting within him, desperate to know the truth. As he neared, the light revealed a small lantern illuminating the figure of his wife, Angie. His stomach dropped. She was there, standing with a tense expression, lips pressed tightly together. Confusion surged through him. "Angie, what are you doing here?" Her eyes darted toward the door. "You shouldn't be here, Sam." Panic laced her words. "Lily told me. She said you were hiding something." Sam's voice cracked, emotions swirling inside him. "What is going on?" Before she could answer, a rustle erupted from behind a stack of hay bales. Sam's heart leapt into his throat as he spun around. The shadows parted, and there stood Lily, her face pale and eyes wide with fear. "I tried to warn you," she shouted, urgency echoing in her voice. "But it's bigger than you think. You have to get out of here, now!" Suddenly, the barn door slammed shut with a force that rattled the walls. Sam's heart raced, a deep sense of dread flooding him. What do you mean? What's happening?" Angie looked at Lily with a mix of disbelief and fear. "You brought her here? Why?" "Because it's not just about you, Angie," Lily said, stepping forward. Her voice shook. "There's a darkness here. You can't trust anyone." Before Sam could process her words, the ground trembled beneath them. Dust fell from the rafters, and a low rumble filled the air. The lantern flickered and went out, plunging them into darkness. Sam's heart hammered against his chest, and cold terror swept over him. Then, in the silence, a low, guttural growl sounded from the shadows. Something began to emerge, a dark shape, slithering at first, then taking form. Sam's breath caught. It was a beast, an unholy creature, its eyes glowing with a terrible hunger. "Run!" Sam shouted, instinct kicking in. He grabbed Angie's hand, pulling her toward the door. But before they could reach it, An unwelcome realization struck him like a bolt of lightning. He could feel something cold, merciless, wrapped around his mind. A scream sliced through the air as Lily's figure began to distort, her features twisting into something unrecognizable. "It's too late!" she cried. "The curse! It's always been!" But before she could finish, the creature lunged, snatching her away with a vicious snarl, dragging her into the darkness. Sam felt a gut-wrenching horror, and his body froze. The last thing he heard was a chilling, echoing laugh that seemed to split the very air around them. He turned to Angie, their eyes locking in shared terror. Questions loomed, heavy like the oppressive darkness. "Who are you?" Sam asked, his voice trembling. In that moment, the world fell silent, and the true weight of betrayal hung in the air. Would he lose everything? Could he face the truth lurking in the shadows? As they stumbled back, breathless and panicked, a deeper darkness stirred, whispering secrets entwined with danger. Angie's breath caught in her throat. The darkness surrounding them felt alive, swirling with impending doom. Sam scanned the shadows, adrenaline pumping through his veins. "What was that?" he whispered, fear gnawing at his insides. Angie's voice trembled. "We need to find a way out." But before she could finish, a bone-chilling scream rang out in the silence. The walls of the barn seemed to shudder as the creature consumed Lily. Angie's expression morphed into horror, eyes wide, skin pale as ash. "We have to go." "Sam, wait!" Sam shouted, desperate to make sense of the chaos. He turned to Angie, his heart racing. "You brought her here. Why?" "No time," she insisted, pulling him toward the door. But Sam stood frozen. The revelation hung thick in the air. He had trusted her, loved her. But now, doubt clawed at him like a feral beast. "Why are you so scared?" he pressed, his voice rising. "What do you know?" Angie's face twisted with fear, then hardened. "You shouldn't have come here. You should have listened." A sudden, thunderous crash ricocheted through the barn as the beast charged forward again, its presence overwhelming. Sam felt the force of it wash over him. The air was thick, suffocating. What was hidden? In the shadows. And then, in a flash, the lantern reignited, casting a flickering light on the corners of the barn. Sam's eyes widened as they struck a shape, slumped against the wall in the light's glow. A figure lay there, disheveled and weak. It was Lily, or what was left of her. "Get away!" she rasped, struggling to rise. Her voice cracked like a fragile promise. "It's not what you think." Sam's heart raced. "What do you mean? What's happening?" Lily looked right into his soul, teeth clenched in pain. "The curse, it's been waiting. It's not just the beast you need to fear." Angie stepped back, trembling, a flicker of something darker flickering in her gaze. "Sam, we can't trust her." Before Sam could respond, Lily let out a guttural sob, pulling herself to her knees. "I wasn't the target. You were. It has always been you, Sam. Your past, it never left." "What? What are you talking about?" His voice wavered, a knot tightening in his chest. Lily gasped, her words spilling out like shattered glass. "The darkness doesn't feast on the lost. It hunts those tied to its origin. Your family, the secrets." She bowed her head, tears falling like rain. "You're the key." Sam felt his entire world tilt. His mind raced, recalling whispers of his family's history, rumors of twisted legacies. "No, it can't be," he breathed, a cold sweat running down his back. Suddenly, the ground shook again, dust spiraling. From the walls, as the creature let out a piercing roar, Sam and Angie exchanged horrified glances as the reality sank in. "What are you hiding from me?" he demanded, voice shaking. Before Angie could speak, laughter echoed through the barn, chilling and sinister. The beast paused, revealing a foul grin. Then it morphed, forming into a human shape. "Surprise, Sam," the voice slid through the air like a serpent. "Your dear wife, Angie, is more than she seems." Angie's eyes went wide, a mixture of shock and anger blazing within her. "No!" But it was too late. The creature lunged toward her, pulling her into its twisted embrace. Sam watched in horror as realization struck him like lightning. The creature grinned, showing sharp fangs. But it was Angie's eyes staring back at him, pleading. In that moment, the ground split under his feet. Doubt so deep threatened to swallow him whole. Was it true? Had he been living a lie? And what of the darkness that encased him? Could he trust anyone, including the woman he loved? As Angie disappeared into the depths of shadow with the beast, a desperate scream tore from his throat. "Sam!" she cried, voice fading, leaving nothing but echoes behind. He staggered, the world tilting. "What have you done, Angie?" But deep down, he knew. The line between love and betrayal blurred in the shadows. And with Lily's words haunting him, one truth resonated. He might be in the grips of a curse far more horrifying than he ever imagined. And the question loomed, could he break free before it consumed him? Sam's heart raced. The fear coursing through him was a thick, suffocating fog, wrapping around him tighter than ever. He could hardly move. The shadows danced, whispering secrets, twisting the truth into something unrecognizable. "Angie!" he shouted, voice cracking like dry ground. "What have you done?" But before she could respond, the creature flickered, a tremor rippling through the air. Angie's gaze was locked on the beast, her expression a mix of fury and despair. "You don't understand." "Understand what?" he demanded, feeling helpless. "That you've brought this upon us?" But the creature wasn't finished. A guttural roar erupted from its throat, and it lunged, dragging Angie into the depths of darkness. Sam lunged forward, desperate, but darkness swallowed them whole. "Sam!" Angie's voice echoed, filled with terror. He stumbled back, crashing against the old hay bales, uncertainty tainting his every thought. Then the lantern flickered back to life, casting ghostly shadows. Sam turned and saw Lily, her face illuminated. But something was different. The fear that streaked across her features was gone, replaced by a strange calmness, eyes sparkling with a mixture of sorrow and determination. "What did you do?" he asked, panic clawing at his throat. Lily took a step closer, and for a moment it felt like a strange calm washed over him. "It's not over, Sam. You have to listen." "But, Angie, your wife is in danger," she interrupted. "But you're not safe either. You need to know the truth about her." He felt his stomach knot. "What truth?" Lily hesitated, the shadows around her shifting ominously. "You're part of this curse. But so is Angie. It goes deeper than you think. Questions whirled in his mind, but one rose above the rest. What do you mean, deeper? She stepped back, eyes wide as if in disbelief. You don't know why you're tied together. The darkness, it thrives on secrets, on bloodlines. What? His heart dropped, the weight of her words crashing down. What bloodline? Lily's voice dropped, a whisper rattling with urgency. Your family and hers. There's a connection. It's why they chose you both. Sam's world tilted, fear clawing at him. What do you mean? Before she could reply, a sudden blast of wind swirled through the barn, slamming the door shut again. The ground began to shake, dust swirling like a storm. The creature roared from the depths, echoing through the darkness. And then, in an instant, everything changed. Lily's form flickered like a faulty light bulb. Sam blinked, missing the instant shift. In her place stood a figure, cloaked in shadow, a chilling smile stretching across familiar lips. Ah, Sam, you really didn't think I'd just let you go, did you? Angie's voice dripped with malice, twisting beneath the surface of her former self. His heart dropped, disbelief washing over him. Angie, is that really you? The shadows coiled tighter around her, and the transformation fully took hold. Your sweet little wife has always been mine, Sam. You were just in the way. Everything shattered. The love he held for Angie, the trust, all crumbled like fragile glass. No, this can't be. But Angie's laughter filled the barn, a sound so wrong, so wicked. Oh, Sam, you never understood. I embraced the darkness long before you ever knew the truth. And now, you'll join us. The air thickened with dread, swirling around him, a cacophony of heartbreak and betrayal. As the shadows danced, Sam felt an uncomfortable truth unspool in his mind. No, I can't believe this. The beast now completely morphed, shape swirling around, pulling Angie deeper into its embrace. Her eyes sparkled with cruelty, taunting him. Now you must decide. Will you stand against your own blood or join us? His heart pounded like a war drum, memories spiraling in chaos. The anger and fear twisted into something dark and cold. What have you done? He whispered in horror. Welcome to the family, Sam, she said, with a grin that could freeze fire. And in that moment, every fragile piece of truth shattered. His pulse raced as the true horror sank in. Was he part of this? Would he become the very thing he feared? The darkness felt alive, swirling, begging him to take a step closer into its unforgiving embrace. What was his next move? Would he resist or succumb to the shadows lurking behind his love? As Sam stood frozen, his heart thrumming in his chest, he faced the twisted version of his wife. Angie's laughter coiled around him like barbed wire. The shadows seemed to pulse with her words, squeezing his lungs tight. You don't understand, Sam. You never did. The grotesque creature flickered between forms, the darkness swirling around its edges. Sam could hardly breathe, the weight of betrayal heavy in the air. Each dawning realization battled for space in his mind. Everything he thought he knew shattered into pieces. Why, Angie? He managed to choke out, desperation clawing at his throat. What do you want from me?" Her features twisted in delight. A visage, neither familiar nor friend. "You were supposed to have been lost to time, but now—" The shadows seemed to absorb her words, drawing strength from the dread growing in his heart. "Now, you will become part of this legacy." Each syllable wrapped tight around him. He stumbled back, memories of their life together, flickering like ghostly images, tainted now by this truth. "Is this how it ends?" he whispered, agony pinching his voice. But before she could answer, the ground split beneath them, a tremendous crack that echoed like thunder. A blinding light erupted from the fissure, casting shadows in stark relief. The air hummed, shimmering with energy, as it engulfed everything around them. "Sam!" Lily yelled, urgency lacing her voice. But it was swallowed by the chaos erupting. The beast recoiled, its hissing now a discordant wail, and Angie's laughter turned into something unearthly. The fissure widened, and darkness erupted from its depths. The world shuddered, spilling forth flashes of shapes, faces, fleeting images of a past Sam could barely comprehend. Figures of men and women, anguished, tormented, emerged through darkness, each howling for escape, each one entwined with familiar shadows. "Angie, what is this?" Sam screamed, eyes darting around the barn. His mind frantically pieced together fragments. They were all connected. A dawning horror painted itself over every memory. The ancestors, the whispers in town, the stories left untold. Suddenly the bond clicked in his mind like a latch. No, it can't be." His voice trembled. "I'm not part of this!" But the void crackled with laughter. "You don't get to choose, Sam." The shadows thickened around Angie. "We needed a vessel, a host. Your bloodline binds you to this curse." Time seemed to halt. All the pain, all the prior moments, crushed down to this single, defining truth. "You're telling me my family, my past, it was never mine to own?" he gasped, realizing the magnitude of her betrayal. Then the light erupted again, blinding him momentarily. When he could see, the barn had transformed. The walls were alive with echoes, cries, yells, tender moments, and anguished pleas. Memories not just of him, but of all those before him. "You should never have come here. Look around, Sam." Angie's voice cracked with something unnervingly close to regret. "You are the one who has to choose." The ground rippled like water, and from the chaos surged a figure. Tall and imposing, it stepped forth, shrouded in shadows and illuminated by the ghostly light. An ancient face with eyes full of the essence of anger and despair. "You have been summoned, Sam." Sam's breath caught. The face was one he recognized from his family's old portraits, his ancestor. Long thought lost to time, his great-grandfather, whose legacy had been stained with dark secrets. "Only by tracing your lineage can you break the curse," the figure continued, voice resonating like a malevolent wind. "But it won't come without sacrifice." In horror, Sam grasped at the threads of what was left of reality. "What kind of sacrifice?" As the shadows thickened, the beast howled, echoing like a storm. Angie laughed madly as the darkness twisted around her. Sam's very soul felt torn. Would he join them or renounce everything he thought was true? The choice weighted heavily, suffocating him. "Make your choice now, Sam," the ancient voice boomed amidst the storm. "But once made, there's no turning back." With the ground shaking beneath him, Sam felt a jolt of understanding surge through him. Could he break free from this curse and save Angie? Or would he become the vessel they wanted? The whirlwind of shadows whispered around him, the echoes of his ancestors clawing for attention. Then, with everything suspended in time, he took a breath and stepped toward the light. Would he be the key to freedom, or the final piece needed to seal his family's legacy of darkness? As Sam stood at the edge of that churning chaos, his heart thudded like a drum against the walls of his chest. The figure of his grandfather loomed, a specter of despair and power, the weight of generations draped over him. Sam took a deep breath, willing to step into that light, despite the overwhelming dread. He hadn't come this far to turn back. Pressing forward, he felt a surge of purpose intertwining with his fear. But as he stepped closer, everything froze. A sudden gust of wind screeched through the barn, swirling around him, and he stumbled. Momentarily disoriented, there was a flicker of light, then darkness pooled again, swallowing the beauty of the moment. "Sam?" Angie's voice called, thin and electrifying. He turned, wide-eyed, seeking the source of her fear, but the voice came from deeper shadows, stretching, elongating in the absence of light. He strained to hear past the thumping of his own pulse, and then it hit him, a gut-wrenching realization that twisted like a knife in his belly. It wasn't just Angie at risk. His whole lineage was tied to the darkness, pulsing like a heartbeat, and the more he fought it, the deeper its grip became. He felt dizzy, like the ground beneath him was cracking open. Suddenly, without warning, a figure burst forth from the shadows, fast and furious. It was Lily, bloodied and torn, her eyes wild with urgency. "Speak the words, Sam! We don't have much time. It's not just the curse you need to worry about." Sam's heart raced as he staggered back, confusion mingling with fear. "What do you mean? What could be worse than this?" Lily's expression twisted in agony. "It's in your blood. You're marked, Sam. The darkness doesn't just hunt the family line. It chooses a leader." She gripped his arm with a fierce intensity. "It's after you!" Before Sam could respond, the shadows behind her flickered violently, and with a terrifying roar, the creature lunged again, poised to attack. Then, in a heartbeat, it launched itself past her, aiming directly at Sam. He reflexively raised his arms to shield himself. But before impact, a burst of light enveloped the barn, a blinding flare that sent everything scattering. Then, silence. Sam blinked away the brightness, eyes adjusting to the eerie stillness. The air felt thick, heavy. Standing before him were not just shadows, but shapes, figures he recognized. Faces of his ancestors emerged from the ethereal glow, their expressions a mix of anguish and pleading. "Strength, unity," they chorused, their voices echoing in a symphonic lament. Amidst that swirl of energy, a familiar flicker caught his eye. His grandmother stepped forward, the warmth of her presence contrasting with "Mean," he gasped, feeling the walls close in as he faced the impossible decision. She took a steadying breath, her gaze unwavering. To bear the burden of our lineage, you must embrace your legacy. Break the cycle and become the vessel you fear. Sam felt his heart stop. No! But before he could process this onslaught of emotion, the air thickened again. The shadows writhed. Angie's twisted form emerged, eyes wide and wild, but a new presence flared within her. The darkness began to dissipate. "Let it happen, Sam!" she shouted, the words raw and desperate. "You have the power to end this!" His breath caught in his throat. That fierce mixture of love and betrayal churned in him. Could he truly sacrifice himself, his own essence, to extinguish this blight? The darkness around him throbbed, a pulse of malevolence seeking its newest victim. Then, with a flash, time moved again. The beast, in a moment of chaos, lunged for Sam. But suddenly Angie stood in its way, unwilling to back down. "No!" she screamed, her voice piercing, echoing through the barn. Wild panic coursed through Sam. "Angie, no!" In that instant, everything changed. A burst of energy exploded between them, engulfing them all. The barn began to collapse, everything tumbling down around them. In the heart of the destruction, Angie transformed, the shadows slipping off her like a second skin, revealing a truth that Sam could never have seen in the dim light of their past. Beneath the chaos, another figure emerged. This time, it was not Angie, but a presence of light and darkness, merging, twisting into something uniquely terrifying. "Your true power lies here, Sam," the entity warned, voice resonating through time itself. "And the truth of your lineage," but in the cacophony, the words faded into the deepening dark. Sam couldn't breathe. The barn crumbled around them. Would he lose Angie? Would he understand that twisted legacy? Before the world turned pitch black, one thing became blindingly clear. There was more to this story than just betrayal or sacrifice. There was a purpose that neither of them anticipated. And just before all was lost, a scream broke through the turbulence. "Sam!" What lay behind that voice? A shocking secret? An explosive twist? As the darkness closed in, one final thought squeezed his heart. Was this truly the beginning or the end? The darkness enveloped Sam, thick as a shroud. He felt trapped, knees trembling beneath him. Everything blurred. The barn's walls twisted, shadows merging into a mass of despair. "Angie!" he shouted. But the sound was lost in the chaos. Lily's presence flickered like a candle fighting the wind. "You have to fight it, Sam," she called, desperation ringing in her voice. "You can break free." Sam stepped back, hands shaking, heart racing. He needed to understand. What does that mean? Fight what? The shadows thickened around him, as if they were alive, pulsing with malevolence. Suddenly, Angie's figure twisted. Again, her eyes flashing between grief and rage. "You have to choose, Sam. You can't let it take you." But it was too late. The darkness surged, loud and furious. A wailing sound filled the air. It was the creature, hungry and vengeful. Sam felt it surge towards him, ready to consume everything in its path. Go! Lily screamed, her voice cutting through the noise. You can't let it win! He turned, driven by an instinct he couldn't explain. He couldn't leave them. Not now. He shoved his way through the shadows. Something dragged at him, sharp and icy. The whispers of his ancestors, clawing at his mind. Sam, listen. You're the key. And then, in a terrifying heartbeat, everything shifted. There was a flash. The world erupted in blinding light, and the next instant, reality shifted around him. Sam was no longer in the barn, but standing in a vast, empty space. The darkness fell away, replaced by an expanse of shimmering light, stretching infinitely. But it didn't feel safe. No, it felt heavy, like destiny holding its breath. He scanned the scene, confusion thick in the air. Then he heard them. Voices, thousands of whispers swirling in the air. Familiar. Some he recognized from childhood stories. Relatives long gone. Shadows of memory floating all around him. He reached out, but no one would meet his gaze. In the center of it all stood Angie, transformed yet familiar. The shadows writhing around her, twisted in a dance, blocking the light but igniting something deep within her, a pulse of energy. Sam, she cried, you need to understand what's at stake. But before he could respond, a bolt of energy shot through the air. A figure emerged, his great-grandfather, the one who had once haunted his dreams, eyes blazing with ancient wisdom. You've all come to test your bonds, he boomed, voice echoing off nothingness. Angie turned to Sam, pleading. I wasn't always like this, Sam. You don't know what I sacrificed. I tried to protect you. I didn't know the darkness would take me too. Confusion twisted in his gut. Protect me? From what? Before she could answer, the ground trembled beneath them. Then, a deafening roar split the air. Sam's heart raced as he watched shadows coalesce into a monstrous figure behind Angie. It growled, a sound that vibrated through his bones, pulling at the very essence of his soul. Don't believe her, the creature hissed, revealing twisted features that morphed into something unnatural, something familiar. Sam's breath caught in his throat. What? What do you mean? The creature coiled closer, eyes bright with malice. Angie's actions have placed her at the heart of all this. She chose to sacrifice you to save herself. Angie's face contorted, desperation etched into every feature. No! They're lying! You have to trust me! I love you! Anger boiled within him. Love? How could he trust any of this? Lives were at stake. His family's legacy was. Written in blood, with every pulse of time, every pulse of darkness, secrets threatened to break him. I can't trust you, he shouted, voice echoing back at him, pain slicing through his heart. But before the weight of his confession could settle, something shifted again. The light began to flicker, reality contorting like a funhouse mirror. Sam, the creature growled, it's time to decide. Will you embrace your heritage or let her fall into darkness? I won't lose you, Angie cried, eyes pleading. But the shadows coiled tighter around her, choking her words. No, he yelled, reaching out, wanting to pull her back, but the shadows snapped. Suddenly, Angie screamed in anguish, her form merging with the creature. Two entities entwined in it. impossible dance of love and destruction. Everything shattered, and in that moment, clarity struck him like lightning. "Can't you see?" he screamed at the creature, a mixture of rage and heartbreak flooding him. "You're both the same! You'll drag her down along with you!" And within that split second, everything crashed down. Sam's world blurred, the whispers multiplying, the echoes of betrayal resounding. What was real? In this madness, who could he believe? As darkness and light pulsated around him, one thought settled deep in his chest. Could he save Angie? Or would he have to fight against the very blood that coursed through his veins? Every heartbeat echoed with unanswered questions. Was love enough to overcome a legacy built on shadows? And in this chaos, who would rise and who would fall? Sam felt the world twist beneath him. Angie's face morphed in the shadows, agony twisting her features. "You have to believe me," she repeated, her voice both pleading and panicked. The weight of betrayal slammed against his chest like a vice. "Why should I?" he shouted back, desperation clawing at him. The monstrous figure loomed closer, gnashing its teeth, each growl vibrating through the air, mixing with Angie's cries. "You've hidden everything from me." Suddenly, a blinding flash illuminated the chaos. The echoes of his ancestors' voices swirled, drowning out the growls. In that moment, clarity struck him. He wasn't just trying to save Angie. He was fighting for his bloodline, his entire existence. "Sam." Lily shouted, her voice cutting through like glass. "You need to break the cycle. The choice isn't just about love. It's about destiny." Before he could fully comprehend, the darkness lunged again, the creature shifting into something more horrifying. A swirling vortex pulling at Sam's very essence. He gasped, choking on air laced with dread. "Fight it!" Angie screamed, but the words twisted into screams of despair. "You have to choose!" Just as he gathered the essence of resolve, a deafening sound shattered the chaos. A thunderclap. The ground shivered. The barn creaked ominously. And then the ceiling collapsed in a shower of wood and dirt. Everything exploded. He felt himself fly back, crashing against the barn's wall, breath knocked out of him. As the dust settled, a figure emerged from the wreckage. The last person he expected to see. His mother. "Mom?" Sam's voice trembled, confusion paralyzing him. "What are you doing here?" Her face was drawn, eyes wide with urgency. "Sam, listen. You don't know the truth about your family. It's not just about the curse. There's something far darker." Angie faltered, confusion rippling through her features. "What are you talking about?" "Your father," she began. But a wail erupted from the shadows, silencing her. The beast, enraged, lunged at her. "No!" Sam shouted, lungs burning as he dove forward to save her. But then it all shifted again. Time stretched, the shadows shimmered, and a piercing light cut through the darkness. Sam felt weightless, thoughts spiraling. He thought about the stories, the whispers in town, all the secrets swirling around him. In a blink, the beast hesitated, caught between the light and darkness. And in that moment, reality shattered. The ground shook violently, a crack forming. The barn trembled, splintering apart, and out of that void surged something horrific. a memory from deep in Sam's past. "Dad," he gasped, recognizing the brief vision of his father's face, a memory he had buried long ago. "What?" Angie whispered, horror washing over her. "Sam, what's happening?" "Your father wasn't just a farmer," his mother cried, eyes blazing. "He made a deal, a dark pact. It ties back to the very essence of this curse." Panic rose like bile in Sam's throat. "What are you saying?" A low growl reverberated, pulling at the remnants of their reality. The creature loomed once more, its eyes gleaming with something sinister. "I wasn't just hiding secrets. I was protecting you from the truth," his mother shouted. But the shadows closed in around them, drowning her voice in darkness. Then, with a horrific roar, the creature charged again, its form twisting into something unrecognizable. The memories, twisted and warped, clawed at Sam's mind. "Fight it, Sam!" Lily yelled, scrambling forward, desperation painting her words. "Don't give in!" Angie cried. But amidst the chaos, another chilling thought collided with him. What if the darkness, the curse, wasn't just about choosing love or lineage? What if it was all part of a twisted game, and their entire lives had been manipulated from the start? As the darkness surged, tightening around them, Sam stood frozen in shock. And in that moment, a terrifying truth dawned. What if the enemy wasn't just the beast, but the blood that ran through his veins? Could he break free? Or was his fate already sealed within the depths of darkness, tied to something he had yet to uncover? The shadows closed in, suffocating Sam in an icy grip. Angie's twisted figure morphed between light and dark, reflecting the battle that raged within. "You don't have to choose," she cried out, her voice desperate. "We can fight this together." But all he felt was fear. The creature howled, its voice a wicked echo that rattled the barn's very foundation. The air thickened with every anguished scream. In this moment of chaos, doubt gnawed at him. Could he really trust her? Or was she still trapped in the clutches of darkness? "Sam, you have to believe," Lily urged, her eyes wide with panic. "The choice is yours, but it's not just about her." "Enough," he shouted. "I can't sort this out in all this noise." Panic surged as the creature lunged again, its claws outstretched, eager to claim what it had desired for so long. Suddenly, everything went silent. The shadows froze. Even the creature paused, confusion flickering across its dark form. It was as if time itself held its breath. Sam's heart raced, and he grasped the moment, his resolve hardening. He would not back down, not now. "Tell me the truth, Angie," he demanded, his voice steady despite the turmoil. "Are you with me or against me?" But she didn't answer. Instead, her eyes steadied on a spot by his side. Fear washed over her face. "Sam, behind you!" He spun around just as a flash lit the area. From the depths of the darkness, a new figure emerged. A woman he had never seen, yet somehow recognized. She stepped forward, a fierce look in her eyes, raw emotion flooding from her very being. "Mom?" he whispered, shocked, but it wasn't his mother. It was someone else, someone from a different time. "Who are you?" "I am Ellery," she spoke, voice clear and ethereal. "And you are bound to the bloodline of shadows." Sam trembled, confusion crashing through him like a wave. Bound? What do you mean? I have waited long for this moment, Ellery said. You have the power to end it all, but it comes with a price. Her gaze flicked between Sam and Angie. You each hold pieces of the curse. It ties your souls together. What? Sam gaped, words barely escaping his lips. How can that be? Ellery stepped closer, and suddenly everything shifted. Memories flooded his mind, images of betrayal and loss. Laughter entwined with cries. Faint whispers rose, hushing the beast lurking within the shadows. You both must know the secrets, long buried. As she spoke, a bright light enveloped the barn, washing over him, drowning out the darkness momentarily. Sam felt warmth, safety, but then something twisted sharply in his gut. He couldn't breathe, fear wrapping around him like a noose. A chilling truth emerged, an ache pulsing through every vein. My mother, she, the real reason behind the secrets, crashed over him, each revelation deeper and darker than before. Then came the scream. An earth-shattering wail echoed through the barn, reverberating in his bones. Ellery's figure flickered. You must choose, Sam, she shouted. But her words cut short as the creature regained its form, lunging toward them, rage igniting the air. But in that moment, Sam realized something deep and shocking. You're the one who has been controlling everything. He pointed at Ellery, a hollow feeling dawning on him. You brought us here. You manipulated everything. Yes, Ellery roared, her voice mingling with the beast's growls. But now it's your turn to change the fate that binds you. Could it be true? Could she really be the puppet master pulling at the strings? He stared at Angie, saw her wild eyes, the hint of fear that lingered. Was this all a game? A terrible cycle they were stuck in. Then, without warning, the ground beneath them erupted. Darkness poured in, swallowing everything whole. He reached for Angie, but she slipped, lost in the vortex, eyes wide with realization. And as the tendrils of the shadows wrapped around him, Sam felt the truth settle deep in his chest. What was left of their love? What was left of who they were? As everything descended into chaos, he vowed to break the cycle and reveal the ultimate secret. But in that promise, the echo of a chilling truth rang out. Would he save Angie, or would he plunge into the darkest depths of their shared legacy? And as the cries faded, leaving only whispers in the dark, one thought loomed large. This was only the beginning. The shadows hissed around Sam, twisting and swirling as the creature lunged once more, a mass of rage and darkness. Sam! Angie's voice echoed through the chaos. You have to fight! It! He felt the weight of his lineage pressing against him. Memories of terror and betrayal crashing into his mind like waves on a rocky shore. Ellery's figure flickered, lost in the swirling darkness. You have the power, Sam! Break the curse! With each heartbeat, his resolve grew stronger. He could feel it, a pulse of strength within him. Driven by a sudden clarity, he stepped forward, his voice rising above the cacophony. Enough! I refuse to let this darkness define me. The creature paused, momentarily confused by his defiance. In that fleeting moment, Sam instinctively reached for Angie, wrapping his arms around her. We can fight this together! Trust me! She cried, her eyes meeting his with desperation and hope. We're stronger than the curse. Suddenly the beast roared, furious at their unity. But it was too late. A surge of energy erupted from Sam and Angie, enveloping them both in radiant light, pushing against the shadows, suffocating them. "Together!" he shouted, their voices merging as one. The intense light grew, casting out the darkness, illuminating their surroundings. The creature screeched in agony. "No!" The barn shook, the cracks in the walls widening as Sam and Angie stood together. Resolute, the luminous energy surged forward, swallowing the creature in a magnificent blaze. A blinding flash erupted, and with it, the darkness crumpled, fading into nothingness. Silence. The dust settled in the air, and the barn was bright, clean, as if the haunting memories had been erased. Sam glanced around, heart racing. "Did we do it?" "Yes," Angie breathed, her voice trembling. There was a softness in her eyes, a glimmer of hope. "The curse is broken." Lily emerged from the shadows, bruised but alive, a smile breaking across her face. "You did it! You really did!" But as they caught their breath, the ground pulsed beneath them, a terrifying reminder that darkness rarely stayed gone for long. "We've only just begun," Sam muttered, the knot in his stomach tightening again. "Your ancestry will shape your future. The light and dark will always be a part of you," Ellery said, now standing beside him, her expression both grave and encouraging. Angie interlaced her fingers with Sam's, their connection grounding them. "We choose how to wield that power," she said, determination painting her face. But uncertainty lingered, a reminder of the shadows they had faced. The future remained unwritten, its path winding and fraught with challenges. "Whatever comes next," Sam whispered, "we'll face it together." A shared nod passed between them, the strength of their bond unbroken. In that moment, surrounded by renewed light, Sam felt hope rise. But as they stepped forward, the air shivered one last time, a low rumble echoing through the barn. In the distance, a storm brewed, dark clouds rolling in. And somewhere, something stirred. It was a beginning, yes, but the end, that would come later. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel. Don't miss the upcoming exclusive stories. Smash the like button now to feed the algorithm. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this ending. Instantly share this video with at least 5 friends who need to know this conclusion. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait another second. If you like stories about farmers and want to know what really happens in the daily lives of the biggest landowners and the secrets that the media doesn't reveal, check out our virtual book with the most famous and hidden stories from the farm. Click on the first link in the video comments and get yours now. You need to watch this now. Don't wait another second to share.